Hello everyone and welcome back to Dark Souls 3. So, it's been a while and honestly, I'm going to change back to my sword because I'm rusty enough that I think big weapons right now is not a good idea, especially when I'm about to go straight into a boss fight. Dark Souls 3 really deserves to be the first one on the block in terms of the new system that the channel is going to go through, making sure that there is plenty of episodes in the backlog for reason being is you guys have been the most loyal series fans I have had in terms of a series. Dark Souls fans have just held out through thick and thin for their episodes, and I thought, you know, first episode on the block for the new system, it's got to be you guys. You guys deserve it. So here we are. This is the first recording of the new week of me getting back onto things, so we're going to do exactly that. Now, why have I changed back to this sword? Both through rust and the fact that I wasn't really enjoying the Ultra Great Sword, because I think this one is just more powerful right now. Waited. Excuse me, why I blocked that. If you think I didn't block it, game, that's fine. Ow, that was bad and greedy. Bad and greedy. Oh, that was that guy. This guy is on the floor already. That's nice. Okay. Good, good. I should probably ember up, since we will be fighting a boss. Or maybe I should have saved that before, until after I'd got past the knights. I actually have gone into the boss fight once already, which is a pain because I think the recording of his intro is going to be skipped. Oh dear. I don't think there's any way for me to get that back. I was doing some audio testing because I've changed the hardware. Oh, wasn't thinking about what I was doing. Because I've changed the hardware recently to be a little more compatible with my setup. And that's meant that I had to do one run through or one quick check of what we had going on with the hardware since I've gotten back. And it was right next to the fog door, and I decided to walk through, and I'd started the episode already, and the audio was clipping uncontrollably, so I've actually started the episode. That's why I was at the bonfire, because I just ended up getting myself murdered by the boss so that we could go back. So I'm really sorry, but this boss may not have their normal intro. In the face. Ah, I got behind you, I did. Well, that works. Hello, my dude. I have to fight you on normal terms. Stand back. Oh, come on, grab. I actually didn't know these guys had a grab, to be honest. Now I do. Oh, die now. Die now forever. Okay. So, do we wander in and get an intro? Or not? I don't think...
You ignorant slaves. Finally taken notice, have you? Of the power of my beloved Ocelot, child of dragons. Well, I will not give him up. For he is all that I have.
Hello, my friend. I'll see if I can find a YouTube clip and borrow it from someone and credit them and splice it in. Because it is worth, if you haven't experienced the intro for this boss, it is worth it. This boss right now is in a really annoying position. So I would like them to not be in such an annoying position. Oh, crotch attack. The roots of that tree there on the left are quite annoying. Ah. Thank you, Lock On, for breaking and causing me to get stomped on. Ow. Ow. Okay. Much better. So what I was trying to do is get some room behind him.
Dear little Ocelot, where have you gone?
Because when he does that,
are you hiding from me?
You can see that his tail is exposed.
Come out. Come out. Don't be afraid.
Come here.
You were born a child of dragons. What could you possibly fear? Now, show yourself, Ocelot. My dear little Ocelot.
This bit of the fight solo does take a little while, depending on your build. And I don't mean while because it's difficult, but while because you want to be careful. So you got to take your ruinous stabs where you can. There we go. Much better. Stop it. Maybe I should be fighting this guy without lock on, to be honest. Ooh. Bad move. There we go. This is much more aggressive part of the fight. Charge. Oh, double charge. Get up, me. Nope, 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 nope. Woo! Not very nice. Here we go. His charge is pretty brutal, so you kind of want to stay under his feet so he never does it. But he will make sure that he gets opportunities to do it. Especially that attack. Stamina back. Close the distance. Close the distance. Just want to stay under his legs as much as possible. If he'll let you. Because he's all teeth. All teeth and claws. And tails, but the tail isn't so much of a big deal. Excuse me. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Yeah. Yep. Get through. Get through. Okay. Finally get a moment where it's my turn. Stay on him. Not the most difficult boss at all. Consider that I'm quite rusty at the moment. But just a very panicked boss because of the way that the boss actually moves. It can be quite easy to lose focus on what you're meant to be doing at any moment. Greedy? No, wasn't punished. Good. Might be punished here, but we're gonna take it. Woohoo! Technically, not a one-shot, because I did die in the test footage. So, technically not a one-shot. But we did beat the boss, and it was relatively painless, and it's a very cool boss, and I really am gonna hope that I splice that footage in for you. Because the intro makes it all worth it. And assuming I did splice the intro in for you, there is a particular YouTuber that talked about the lore of Dark Souls 3 quite a lot. All Dark Souls, really. Vati Vidget. And a lot of people got on board with Vati's video's version of this fight in terms of lore. And I heartily disagree. At the beginning you saw in the intro that I spliced in that clearly the boss had a or believed that they were cradling a baby. Ocelot is the name of the baby. That was a born of dragons. And you could hear the baby crying, and that was all part of the illusion. And partway through the fight, the dragon apparently smashes the baby into the ground, killing it. That's when it changes from its first form to its second form. Now, Vati Vidya wants you to believe that the baby was really there. And Vati Vidya also points out that in the game files there was actually there is actually files for the baby's model to be in the hands of the king's arms and not invisible. Now, I take massive issue with that, because in game design, story can change. Just because it exists in the files doesn't mean it was meant to be. Cut content is a thing, and it's often very intentional. But that is Vati Vidya's excuse for why the baby is really there, just invisible. My thoughts are the baby was never there because the king is mad, is completely insane. The king used to be a human, but changed into a dragon through experimentation. Or, well, didn't change into a dragon, because as you saw, whatever he was somewhere stuck in between and gross and moulding, and the actual king themselves was insane. And something not considered is that in the Dark Souls universe, that when something is insane, or something can affect its environment quite realistically just by willing it into existence. So the fact that you heard the baby crying, the fact that the king was talking to something, does not mean that the baby was there. It means that you are a participant in the king's madness, because the king's madness is so deep and so extreme and so mystical in this whole Dark Souls kind of dark horror fantasy world, that you become a participant in the king's madness. Ocelot's not here. There's no bloodstain, there's no nothing, there's no Ocelot. There's only the king and his madness about the son he never had, that he wanted, who would be the king dragon child. And that never came to be, and only further drove the king into madness, which we found him in here, in that state. Long forgotten, and long left to just be mad. As we stood outside that fog wall, we never heard the cries of a child. We only heard the wailing of whatever that creature was. Whatever the king had become, we could only ever hear his wailing. It wasn't until we entered his world, his environment, that we started to even hear Ocelot through his madness. And that's why I think Vati Vidya is quite wrong on that topic, and I've been waiting a long, long time to say that, because if anybody does watch Vati Vidya, they'll know how long it's been since that particular video came out. And I've been waiting a long time to be able to say that. But now we have these interesting things. Dead, covered in rags. You can see how somebody died. But we've got one here. What is it? What is it? What are you? Ooh, it's a snake creature. I was waiting for it to do that attack, actually. Because I'm trying to immerse you guys in the lore as I play this game, just as much as I'm trying to explain my process of playing it. But these, much like the king, are failed transformations into a dragon kind. And we get that further exposed here. Path of the Dragon. We just got an emote. Now, we'll switch the sitting one to Path of the Dragon. And that makes us do this. And you might think that's just an emote, but it's actually used for something, and I won't reveal all of it because we've got more to do here before we actually find out. Is this a mimic? Let's do the mimic check. This is not a mimic. It's Titanite scale. So we get to upgrade something, and illusory wall. This is a massive part of the game, this area here, because I'm going to drop into this kind of eternal night behind the shrine. We just went from Castle Lothric in a hidden chamber to this area down here. The Untended Graves. And it's gonna start seeming real familiar soon. I'm just gonna shut up for a moment and let y'all absorb. Grey crystalline ring crafted from shards. Increases FP restored by the Ashen Estus flask. Once a treasure brought before Lothric's queen, she had it enshrined in the cemetery of Untended Graves so that one day an unkindled might profit from its use. Didn't expect that dog to come out of nowhere, to be honest. But if it's not familiar to you yet, just from this, because it was quite a while ago now, this is the tutorial area. It's just, it's permanent nighttime, and quite gloomy, and it has harder monsters in it. And come here. Come on. Whoa! Oh no! Just getting totally wrecked here. I lost the boss souls too. Whoops. It's alright, I'll get better as I go on. Can't quite remember how I used to handle this area. I think I used to go straight through, to be honest. Get this guy's attention first. Because that's the second one that came at me. If you would just... Yeah. Yep, come on. Whew. Some people are critical of folks like me that go for the backstab, but to be quite honest with you... Whoa! Hello, friend! No, 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 no. Get the hens. To be quite honest with you, it's effective, so why not? Right? Stop playing games with them and just... Some people it's not effective on, like this guy. So you should just go for the frontal assault. To be quite honest with you. There we go. Hopefully that bleed will go down soon. There is actually a quicker way through this area, but of course I want to explore it as completely as I can on my first way through. Because who doesn't want to explore these areas in Dark Souls? Right? Hey doggy. Dogies. Well, that's not all of them. There's two to my right. Very useful that these dogs are completely countered by shields. And so it is. Delicious titanite chunk. If we go up this way, this is where the crystal lizard used to be, the very first crystal lizard. Which we fought naked with a club. We now have 2 crystal lizards. You can actually fight one at a time, as I'm proving right here. Very awkward spot to be fighting it, to be honest. Don't crystallize me, bro. Okay. Go over there, see if I care. Oh, you're making this quite... Come here, come on. You're gonna be a pain. May as well be a pain over here. There you go. Getting greedy because I thought that third swing would kill it. 2 titanite scales. Nice. Now we can fight this guy in complete comfort, since we can use the entire area without worrying about attracting his friend. Oh, greedy. another 2 Titanite scales. So that's 5 Titanite scales we've collected on our way to leveling up this sword more. I'm going to stick with this sword for the rest of the game, I think. I know I said I was going to go Ultra Great Sword, but I'm just not that into it. And I'd rather be into the weapon that I'm using than not, to be quite honest. So we killed those 2 crystal lizards, and we can continue on forward. Holy holy. So insofar as what this area is, to me it's kind of like a little pocket dimension, an alternate timeline of what could be, or could have been, if it wasn't for you existing. There is further lore on that, and there's no bonfire here, so you have to go from that bonfire at the back every time you die. That's not a problem, because we are quite close to a destination we want to be at. These guys are quite a lot harder than usual. By the by, there's actually a dude around here who's a massive issue. Oh, come on, that actually hit you though. But I'm going to try and be as thorough as possible. At least the first time through. We won't be killing these guys over and over again every time we come through here, because I guarantee you I'm going to die on the next boss, which we're very, very close to. Because that boss is quite difficult. Hi, friend. Noted. Halone's Blessing. I've never used them, to be honest. I've always had too good to use syndrome with that particular item. It's never seemed like the right time to use it. Come here, dagger boy. Come on. Here you go. I actually didn't mean to do that. I actually meant to kick. Cleric Sacred Chime, those drop as usual off these guys, despite them being harder versions of these guys. Goodbye, friend. Just doing a return trip around these parts. Ooh, okay. That could have been really bad. You did. Yes, you are dead. Okay. We've cleared this area out. Because you'll remember, in the tutorial area, we had a tutorial boss. And that guy was called Gundyr. Champion Gundyr, I believe is his name. Or just Gundyr. I think the first one was Gundyr. This is Champion Gundyr. But we're going to save that for next episode. So, thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.